Speeches, I looked around this wonderful room, and I know we'll have a chance to see some of the other rooms in this state-of-the-art Boys and Girls Club, number 2,000 Boys and Girls Club. I thought to myself, when I see all that steel, I see all that cinder block work and electrical work and air conditioning work, and it takes about this much stuff to make a jail. It's about what it would take. And that's what we've been doing too much of in recent years. We've been using this kind of material and treasure to build jails, to put our children in eventually. No other civilized nation in the world has as many people in jail as we have in jail. So we need more mentors. We need more places like this, where the community comes together and says to the young people of the community, and especially in this neighborhood here, we care about you. Because you see, what these young people are seeing, not just a nice place to play basketball or in the computer room to run a software program. They don't see steel and cinder blocks alone. What they see are people who care about them. What they see are people who love them. What they see are people who have expectations of them and about them and will not let them fail. We do not have anything more important to do than to protect youngsters like this and put them on the road to success. The choice is very simple. We either build our children or we build more jails. It's time to stop building jails and get back to what we know how to do as Americans, and that's to build our children.
Welcome to the Gilchrist Experience. Today's guest, Chuck. Well, we don't have a guest today. I'm waiting for Graham Weatherspoon. But just a little brief story about the Boys and Girls Club. We've been struggling, trying to get this building going. Remember the building on 145th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam, PS 186. That's owned by the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem. Now we're finally going to do something with it, and as you see, Colin Powell talks about developing our youth. And this is very important to all of us because the youth are endangered species, especially if you're a person of color. But let's go to a subject matter that we've been talking about. Let's go to the minute roll-in about Eric Gardner, all right? And we'll be right back at you, all right? It's only a minute piece.
After a police officer used an apparent chokehold was overcome with grief at a rally in his honor Saturday. 46-year-old Esau Garner burst into tears and was escorted from a rally for her husband, Eric Garner, at the Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network headquarters in Harlem. Garner's death on Friday has prompted an investigation by the Staten Island District Attorney's Office and caused Mayor Bill de Blasio to postpone a vacation while he talks with community leaders. A passerby captured the interaction between Eric Garner and police on video, and the tape shows Garner saying at least 8 times, "I can't breathe," as police appeared to push his head into the ground.
That's a brief review of the problem of police brutality, and with us today, of course, you recognize Graham Weatherspoon. He was a police officer for, 20 years?
Yeah.
And we have detailed description of what we're going to do about this in detail, huh, Graham? I see you at National Action Network Saturday talking directly to Reverend Sharpton.
Yes. There are a number of problems, systematic problems, not only with this case, but with the way in which NYPD has been run and is currently being run. The people had 12 terrifying years with Ray Kelly.
Right.
And as Bill de Blasio came to office, he guaranteed certain changes. And of course, Ray Kelly was to be gone. Bill Bratton is with us now. He was here before under Giuliani, and he served as the chief of the transit police under David Dinkins. But there are some internal systemic problems with NYPD that have never been addressed and, to my knowledge, are not being addressed at this time. This killing, and I was reading in the Daily News today of another killing by the cops from the same precinct back in March.
Cops
Yes.
from the same precinct?
The same precinct.
Not the same cop?
Not the same cop, but a fellow was killed. He was in violation of an order of protection. He was at a lady's door. The police came. She called the police. They came. They took him away.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they took him down a stairway where there were no cameras.
Mm-hmm.
In that stairway, he was beaten. He was strangled. He was taken to the precinct. He complained about having difficulty breathing. He was totally ignored. Then was finally taken to central booking. Well, he died.
Okay.
And an autopsy was done. And we need to understand that the problem going on here is not just with the New York City Police Department. It's initiated with the New York City Police Department, but there are other entities that are also culpable. We saw with Eric Gardner, EMS came. Now, first of all, following Garner's being handcuffed, those officers rendered no medical aid, no first aid to Eric Garner, none.
We have the
Right.
second half of that video, so we're going to show that.
And that leaves them culpable, right? Secondly, we have seen this exhibited before by NYPD. There was an African-American police officer in Harlem from the Housing Bureau about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. A guy was breaking into his car. It was night. He chased the guy up 3rd Avenue. A sector car intercepted him. He was talking with the sergeant, and another officer, a third officer, shot him from behind and killed him. Well, he lay face down literally in the gutter. EMS arrived. And as EMS is checking him, they find his shield
Right.
and determine, oh, this guy's a police officer. Well, the cop that shot him didn't know. The other officers, the sergeant, they never sought to give first aid to the man that they had shot, even though the sergeant did not perceive a threat when they intercepted this man with a gun, who happened to be an off-duty police officer. But they allowed him to lay face down in the rain, in the gutter, at the edge of the curb, and die.
That was Kelly. On the,
That was under Kelly. But the thing is, when you take a person into custody, you are responsible for their safety from that moment on. All right? I had a guy once, I collared him down on Canal Street about 5 o'clock in the morning. He robbed a woman on the subway. I had him in cuffs, and I had the lady there on a witness, and I'm getting the lady's information, and the guy turns, he bolts, and he runs and jumps off the platform into the tracks, and there's an A train coming. Now, that guy had my handcuffs on. Who was responsible for him at that point? I was. He was my prisoner. Now, I had only one thing to do: jump and get him before the train got him. That's what I had to do. I thank God I'm still here today. And he's alive. The train didn't hit him either. But when he realized the train wasn't going to hit him, he went for the third rail. And I had to grab him as he was going for the third rail and hold him up in my arms until backup arrived to get us out of the tracks. A police officer is obligated to render first aid to that prisoner in their custody. Never happened for Eric Garner. They stood around, they talked, they looked, and this officer even waved at the camera. You see it there at the end of the
I got that
camera.
on tape, too.
He exhibited depraved indifference to human life. We all heard the tape. He repeatedly said, I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe. How do you blatantly disregard that and then stand over somebody as though they were an inanimate object on the curb EMS comes, the young lady checks his pulse, and trust me, he was dead on the scene.
Yeah, and we have that scene too. All right, let's do this. To get the audience involved, I know everybody has something to say. We're going to decide to do call-ins today. And what I'm going to do, before we just start the call-ins, we're going to run that piece again. That first piece that everybody's seen, but we're going to slowly and review it. I want everybody to take a good take on what happened. Slowly look at this, and we'll review it, and I want you to call in and ask questions, all right? Because everybody's concerned. I had an attitude last week. Why did he have I mean, it was for, we're talking about selling Lucy cigarettes. A man dies accused of being selling Lucy cigarettes. For something that minor, you say, yes, sir, all right, let's go. You guys got me wrong again. You're mild-mannered because you know you're in the right, because it's something minor. Don't give these cops any sort of reason to jump on you. None whatsoever. Don't give them any cause at all. It's just to protect you. It's not kissing butt, it's being smart. All right? Let's go to the videotape. I mean, that's my take on it. All right?
Business. The fight break out. Stop it. So you can run up on me.
That's all right.
The people that's fighting just walk away. Are you serious? I didn't do nothing. Where did I go?
Can we put the call-in number up?
Take me back for what? I didn't sell anything. I did nothing. We sitting here the whole time about our business. What are you talking about? Who else you do what? Who else sell cigarettes to? To whom?
Not that rich. There's another guy.
Easy way or hard way for what? Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It stops today.
This guy right here is forcibly trying to lock somebody up for breaking up a fight.
Everybody standing here, they told you I didn't do nothing. I did not sell nothing. Because every time you see me, you want to harass me, you want to stop me, trying to sell cigarettes. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time. Please just leave me alone. Please, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Hold on.
Listen, don't touch me, please.
Came over.
Not touch me.
Stop. Give your hand, buddy. Put your hand behind your back.
I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Once again, police beating up on people.
Back up.
Right here.
Back up and get on that step.
Okay.
Back up.
All he did was break up a fight. And this what happens for breaking up a fight. It's crazy.
Everybody back up. Back up.
He can't breathe. Look, now I mean, they gave this man a seizure.
Yo, move out the way. Yo.
It's my brother. We
Everybody,
did.
back up this way. Everybody now back up. It's now going to become a crisis. Back it up. Back it up.
I'm going to my house.
No. This way. Let's go.
Can't go in my
In the house or that way?
All right, I'll go that way.
Pick a choice.
Let me get my
Let's
bike.
go. You had your chance to get your bike, sir. Staying over there. Right now we have a scene.
He's alright. He's doing nothing to do with the fight. That's something to do with something else.
As you see this last officer we looked at, that's number 99. This is the guy who obviously broke his windpipe or something happened. But I'm just saying, I mean, from my own point of view, of course I'm only speaking up for me, what he should have done. And we need to learn the lesson when things are that minor. You know these people are just aching to beat up on somebody. And when you're that size, they think they need 10 people to take you down. Now you saw this big, as big as this guy, 99 and 99 on his back. He must have been 225, 230.
Easy.
All right. So he actually broke his windpipe. Doesn't have a bunch when we get a report on it, I bet you he broke his windpipe. The way you can kill people like that's why they call it a chokehold.
It is. There are various ways of putting or rendering people unconscious,
Okay.
all right, other than choking them.
Right.
You can cut off the blood supply to the brain, all right? They will pass out as a result of that.
On a chokehold?
Not a chokehold. Not a chokehold. You don't have to damage the windpipe in order to render. I can put you to sleep
Right.
without choking you.
They teach you in
I
the
could-
academy that.
Let's just put it this way. They didn't teach me that. I knew that before I went there.
Okay. But what do
I
they
know
teach you in the academy?
what they don't teach much. The tactics that they teach in the police department, basically, I never used. I had studied self-defense tactics before
What
I
about
went in
this
there.
officer that took
But-
him down? Number 99.
That-
What made him jump on this guy and choke him to death?
You got to remember something. Staten Island is a foreign country. These guys don't even consider themselves part of New York City. There are many cases pending in Staten Island right now with similar activities such as this. This officer has 3 cases, 3 lawsuits pending against him in a period of 2 years.
Okay.
And this is, again, I'm going back to the systematic problems in NYPD. They have nothing to do with training. Here is a cop that should not be on patrol,
Okay.
number 1.
Was there three different?
He's got 3 different lawsuits
Okay.
in 2 years, right? People will say, well, he works in plain clothes. And you can expect that because he's in plain clothes, the number of incidents and physical interactions with people are going to be high because he's in plain clothes and people don't know he's a cop. Any white guy walking around like that, everybody knows he's a cop. Everybody in the neighborhood knows he's a
Because he
cop.
has
He's not
the attitude.
surprising
He has
anybody.
the attitude of a
Everybody
cop.
knows him.
Right.
When I worked in plain clothes, people didn't have any idea of who I was until I effected an arrest.
Right.
But the thing is, he's got 3 cases in 2 years. Question number 1, why is he on patrol? Question number 2, even greater, why is he in plain clothes? A cop like that should never be in plain clothes. Number 3, if you want to put him on patrol, he should be on patrol in uniform, and he should be on what we call a fixer. Fixer is a post that you stand on that corner and don't leave here until it's time for you to go home. That's called a fixer. It's a punishment. And this is something that the precinct commander could have done a long time ago.
But this guy is loose. He obviously is part of a hit squad. You know, when they describe this gentleman sitting in, whoever he was, whatever he weighed, obviously they sent reinforcements because these guys are sitting there talking to this guy a good 5-10 minutes before the cops show up.
It shows you, number 1, these guys are punks, okay? They call for backup before they engage him. Now, if you realize you're going to have a problem, you do call for backup. But
Let's talk from the victim standpoint.
we're going to come to that.
All right.
Definitely
Now,
gonna come
what
to that.
should he have done to avoid this kind of nonsense? Over Lucy cigarettes now.
Penal law section 5.00 says that the penal law is not to be strictly construed, but to be used for the fair department of justice. What does that mean? It means that the law does not have to be enforced to the letter of the law, especially with regard to minor nonsense. The police officer has the option of ignoring something if he wishes to ignore it, providing it's not something of an egregious nature.
So they were picking on this guy, period.
The people there said he wasn't selling. He broke up a fight.
Right.
All right? When I worked in plain clothes, I didn't deal with that trivial nonsense. There were too many felonies and major misdemeanors to deal with over. I would never.
All right. Say,
Never.
well, we know the facts are that he had a beef with the cops once before, a couple
They
of
had
times.
prior history,
All right.
repeated
So they obviously
arrests.
recognized him. You
And
know,
they make an assumption that he's doing one
all
thing
right.
or
So
the
he
other.
had to be doing whatever they caught him doing before. All right.
The question is, did they? The people said, and you heard it on the tape, the guy says
Cops
he didn't
don't
do
need
anything.
a reason to do anything.
He
You know
said
that.
he didn't do anything. He broke up a fight.
Yeah.
They are making an assumption. And one of the problems with the cops today, they do not take the time to fully assess what is going on. They're in a rush to make an arrest, and their facts are not facts.
But
They're
what
assumptions.
should Eric should have done?
Eric
I
should
mean,
have simply
just give it-
complied with the officer.
Right.
And that's what people have to they need to understand.
let's get to that.
You had 2 people messed up here. The cop messed up in assuming that he was doing something. Listen to me. The cop assumed that Eric was doing something. He was wrong. Eric failed to comply with the lawful order
Okay.
in yielding himself to be arrested. You cannot resolve a matter on the corner with the police officer.
That's right.
Regardless.
That's right.
Regardless.
No matter what.
Eric messed up there. Then it gets worse because it only escalates. And this is one of the things that we've been teaching people for years and what to do when stopped by the police. It is not about your manhood. You can't prove your manhood on the street corner.
That's right, especially with the cops.
You can't. You have to prove that you have common sense.
That's
It's
right.
about you surviving the situation and coming back and getting getting the satisfaction in a court of law. There's no satisfaction on the street corner. So people need to understand. You have to have a mindset to get past the incident so you can come back and deal with these people in a way that they can be dealt with. Eric should have complied, let them arrest him, go to court, and the judge would have obviously thrown it out.
Yeah.
He would have thrown it out.
Lucy cigarettes.
We are very emotional people, and your emotions cannot rule you. We have to think with our brain, especially when you're dealing with the likes of these individuals.
Yeah.
All right? Now, there are a number of criminal charges. The DA, not the DA, but the medical examiner said that he did not die of asphyxiation. Well,
oh, you've got the medical report?
They gave the preliminary. They said he didn't die from being choked to death. They're trying to say it was a heart attack, but there's a pattern here. There was a guy that was killed 4 months ago by the members of the same precinct where the medical examiner said the same thing. Said he had a heart attack and something else. The guy was beaten. He had bruises, contusions. He was dragged down a flight of stairs by these cops in the building because there were no video cameras there. And the medical examiner now is complicit. See, there is a whole nest. There's a whole nest of corruption here. The medical examiner said that this man died because of a heart condition and some Valium he had in his system.
Eric
No, not
Gardner.
Eric Gardner,
Okay.
the guy that got killed a few months ago.
What are they saying about Eric Gardner?
They said he did not die as a result of being choked.
Okay.
I can choke you. I can render you unconscious and even dead without choking you.
But
all I need to do, in that clip, you see the cop's forearm is across his throat.
he obviously
That is a
choked him to
chokehold.
death. Of course.
All right? And they're telling him, put your hands behind your back. Well, if you're laying on your right side and you see his arm is extended here, the cop is behind him on his back laying on the ground. How do you put your hand behind your back and you're laying on the pavement and there's someone laying on the pavement behind you? But the cop now, he goes from the chokehold to putting his hand on his head and his neck, pressing his neck down into the pavement. And he's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. When a person tells you that, and you will not relinquish the hold to enable them to breathe, you're exhibiting by law what is called a depraved indifference to human life. That is a criminal act.
Okay.
He has the culpable mental state. He has the state of mind where he's basically saying, I don't give a damn about you.
All right. The point I was trying to make was, now, anybody watching that videotape will say the man died from the chokehold. Now, the medical examiner, you're telling me, says he died from a heart attack. Now, there we right away we know that something's up, all right? So, I mean, we're the eyewitnesses watching this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this second piece. And the reason why I'm dragging us all through this, because this is the man on the scene. Like, you're standing there as an eyewitness, so seeing what can be done to you. I mean, this could have happened to you. So pay attention to how you should deal with these situations, because we got nuts out there against us. You have to realize this. We got an officer here, and he can tell you all the details of what happens behind the scenes, but we see what happens on the street. Now watch this second clip, and we'll put up a call number. You can call in and ask questions, all right? But I just want everybody to get a firm in their minds of what we should be doing when we run in these situations.
Where's the ambulance?
Where's the ambulance?
Where's the ambulance?
Now, you still have our... Give us a full screen, if you can. Give us the full screen.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. It's a narrow clip.
Yeah, back up. Y'all got him on the floor. Y'all got him on the floor. Y'all talking about back up. You hear this? Now they're trying to get him an ambulance. After they harassed him, slammed him down, NYPD. You understand? This is going viral right here. It's going viral right here. NYPD harassing people for no reason. He didn't do anything at all. Going viral. Now they want to step back. They want to try to get him an ambulance. After they beat him up, brought him to the ground.
Marquez might call in, I'm not sure.
Huh?
Marquez Claxton might call in.
Nice try. So going viral.
I hope you can hear me out there, but what we're doing, I'm showing you what happens. Now, I doubt if anybody's actually seen this footage. Now, this is after he's laying there. Now, you can see that they're saying that he's breathing, but he doesn't look like he's alive to me. Now, I've seen it several times. You're watching it now. Well, I want you to call in, and whoever can hear this, and you look at this man. You see what they're doing. That's a long clip, but I want you to sit there. You're the eyewitness of the scene here. You're looking at a dead man over Lucy cigarettes, mind you. Lucy cigarettes. Now there's the real crime. And he's got kids. He's a beautiful family man. And he's laying there dead over Lucy cigarettes. Here's the real crime, man. It brings tears to anybody's eyes. You see the family out there, they're suffering from all this. All he had to do was just say, all right, guys. All right, hold until we finish this video. Just hold on for a minute, callers. I know you got something to say, but just watch a man and his family being persecuted over Lucy cigarettes.
So you're taking the packs of cigarettes out of his pocket.
And nobody saw him selling Lucy cigarettes. But no, we're not talking about
they're not rendering 4 calls? Oh, yeah,
all
we
right.
need it. Yeah.
So give us one, and we'll keep watching this. All right. All right. So this is a shame. No, he's just laying there. Now the EMS hasn't gotten there yet.
Yes,
Hello?
go ahead.
Go ahead, speak up, please.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Anthony from the Bronx, and I watch your show all the time, and I have a quick question. As I'm watching this video, right? I wanted to know that since Mr. Eric was handcuffed, now when the paramedics come, is the cops allowed to take the handcuffs off to do CPR?
Sir, they should have been doing CPR before the paramedics got there. They should have been doing it, and you note that it was never done by any of the police officers. And another thing, there is a sergeant at the scene there, a black female sergeant, who is not taking charge of anything that's going on there. She's just walking around like she doesn't know what to do. Failure to supervise. But you're supposed to give CPR. You can uncuff. There are enough police officers there to control this guy. It's very obvious the guy is unconscious.
Right.
It's very obvious he's not breathing. You give CPR. We've given CPR to drug addicts, to overdose drug addicts. You can't give CPR to this man? That's another crime. It's called nonfeasance. It's failing to do what you could have done in the course of your duties. That's another criminal act. I have about 10 charges here that are laid out with regard to what you see in this video and what the police officers did and failed to do. And 95% of those charges are A1 felonies down to D felonies. And they cannot say it's not on the video.
Well,
Wow.
yeah. Well, you see, now we're showing you stuff that you won't see anyplace else. All right? Now, I doubt it, because this is an original, and this guy should be complimented to. And this is what all of us should be doing. We should make this an art. This is where we're going to receive our justice. And you take a video of any injustice that you see there and you bring it to me and we'll make sure everybody hears about it. All right? Now, Reverend Sharpton is on the case. So, you know, I work for Reverend Sharpton. I worked with Reverend Sharpton for the last 16 years.
He is deceased. That man is dead. He is not breathing.
But you and I both can see that something's wrong with, you know. And as a result, he died, so we know they didn't do the right thing. All right? Next caller, please. Thank you for calling. Yes? Next caller?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Mr. G. How you doing?
Okay, man.
Son of MJQ. How you doing, brother?
Okay, man.
Okay.
I want you to know that I want to reach through the TV and hug you and Brother Witherspoon because I thought for a minute that I was living in a world that didn't exist. You guys are the only show that has given it from both sides. And your show is the only show that has said the guy should have just basically given up.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're trying to do the right thing.
You know, we have to be smart. We have to be smart. We're dealing with these police officers.
Because they're crazy.
That, you know, we had a woman 7 months pregnant over the weekend fighting with police officers because she was grilling on a sidewalk, and it caused injury to her husband and her brother, and they both got arrested. All three of them got arrested. We can't be dealing with emotional when we deal with these police officers. We have to be smart, and it's plain and simple. You guys are the only ones that are saying, bringing it from both sides, and saying that the guy should have basically just given up. These cops will kill us or hurt us seriously if we don't comply. Yeah. It's not called shucking and jiving, and it's not called Uncle Tommin' or whatever have you. It's called being smart and living to fight another day. We have to learn to choose our battles in life, and this, personally, to me, was not the time to show your manhood.
Amen. Right. Amen. You know, I've been arguing with a lot of people about this. Matter of fact, I got so angry. Thank you, man. Because, I mean, this is important. The only reason I get so upset is that this man has a family. He's got 5, 6 kids.
Children.
6 kids,
and
man.
Grandchildren. And
grandkids. And it's over Lucy cigarettes. That's what just upsets me. I mean, what he did was, of course, you argue when you're right, but when you're that size and if you're a black man, you're intimidating no matter what size you are. Mm-hmm. All right? And if you're that big, you're intimidating to them. They think you might hurt them. And they're not going to take any chance. And if they get a chance to try their crap out, you know they want to test their stuff. And this 99, he's been out there playing cowboy for a long time.
You know, another thing to consider when you look at that tape, when that officer grabs him, he stumbles backwards.
In the plate window,
He could have hit the plate glass window. What the cop did was reckless. Because he put his own safety and the safety of his potential prisoner in jeopardy by doing what he did, falling against that plate glass window. And they surely couldn't accuse Eric of killing the cop if the window broke and the cop got killed, when the cop is the one that grabbed him from behind. Right. What they lack is just common sense. They invoked a psychological exam. They wanted the candidates to have college credits. That has not improved the scenario one bit. The psychological exam is to protect the city theoretically in lawsuits because they're hiring people that don't have the culpability to do what should be done. They don't have the moral integrity to do what you should be doing when it comes to another human being. They don't respect human life. I want to quickly read the charges that I've compiled. We have some more callers?
We got a bunch.
All right, we'll take a call, and then we'll take the calls first, and I'll read off the charges that I have on this office.
Next caller, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Carmen.
What is it? Can
Carmen?
you speak up?
My name is Carmen.
Yes, Carmen.
Hi, I'm just scanning through the channels. It's the first time I see your program on air.
Oh.
And it's the first time I actually see everything that's transpired with this poor man. I'm very upset that the policemen, first of all, the cops are trained to do CPR when anybody seems distressed. And you can actually see that he's dying. Why didn't they do CPR. Is this because he's an African American?
Of course.
I mean, he's selling cigarettes in the street. I didn't see that he had any cigarettes from the video that he had on him. Now, they walk all over the streets in New York City, and cops see people that sell drugs on the street. Why don't they do something about that? I have seen many times, multiple times, they walk by and they don't do a damn thing. And so many officers there, and they didn't do anything, and not yet. The ambulance came. Why didn't they take action? Now, all those people should be fired. They should be persecuted. You know what? I'm sick and tired. Every time I hear on the media a police officer didn't follow procedure. Okay, oh, they're suspended without pay. Oh, that's for no. Just because of the law, they shouldn't get away with it. He was treated the way he was picked up like a piece of meat. He's not a piece of meat. What is wrong with society? What is wrong with people today? We all human beings. Don't they know God? They must not know God to treat people the way they treat.
You're right.
You know, exactly my sentiment. Thank you for calling. We need people like you to call up that get upset. You see the real deal, and it's a tearjerker. This man's got a family, and he's a child of God. But you need to call the White House, call City Hall and complain. Call your councilman, whoever. If you live in, anywhere in New York City, call and complain about this. We need to do something about this. Thank God we have the videotape, so you're an eyewitness to the wrongs that are being done. All right. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Next caller.
Hello, Winston.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing,
This is a sick one, man.
Excellent.
This is a sick one.
I'm gonna add some information to the scenario that's gonna even blow this up more. Subsequent to the video, information came out about the charges against Eric Garner and the cop that was involved, the cop that choked him out.
99
had 3 charges against him: 2 for selling cigarettes, 2 for selling loose cigarettes, 1 some sort of traffic accident. Eric Garner had retained a legal aid, and they were suing the cop, that specific cop, for harassment. Now, not only has that cop harassed people in the past, not only has he lost a lawsuit for $30,000, the cop that choked him out.
Okay.
You mean he and Garner had dealings before?
That is correct. That is correct.
Oh, they know each other.
Oh, yeah, he had arrested him before.
Garner had hired a legal aid, and they were suing in court. This is an ongoing event. Now, let me tell you about the cop. So this is a revenge killer. Not only has the cop lost a lawsuit for $30,000 for harassing people, the cop actually stripped a man naked in the street. Right. Now I ask you, what is in play that a policeman who is abusing his power to this degree, harassing people to this degree, is allowed to remain on the force? I ask you, Graham, you know law better than anybody I know. What would you do if a police officer instructed you to strip naked in broad daylight in the street? This was premeditated. There is a limit to the harassment. Sometimes you don't act correctly, but this was premeditated. He came after this man, and I would love to hear what you got to say, because you are brilliant with the law and you understand what's going on. But I'm saying these are lay people, and that cop should have never even been there.
All right, now let me get this clear. Let me get this clear now.
Yeah.
You're telling me that this cop knew Eric.
Correct.
That 99, the guy who jumped on him and choked him to death, knew Eric Gardner.
Correct.
And they had a beef before?
Correct.
And this is what you're telling me?
Correct.
Well, this is out and out.
Correct.
Premeditated murder then.
Correct.
Retribution. See, this is what I'm saying about the systemic problems within NYPD. Why was this man on patrol?
God.
He never should have been on patrol.
But he knew
He never should have been in plain clothes, allowed to roam around where he wants to roam around. He should have been on a desk somewhere, See,
I'm going to hang up and listen on the
Okay.
TV. I'm going to let
Okay.
you guys
man.
handle it from here.
Thanks,
All right.
man.
Thank you.
Oh,
the New York City Police Department is costing you more money than any agency in the city of New York in lawsuits. The New York City Police Department has cost you and me close to $1 billion in our tax dollars to be paid out in lawsuits over the last 10 years. And that number will go over $1 billion this year. One of the problems is this. There will be a lawsuit. And the gentleman who died 3 months ago, his family is suing also for his death following that arrest on Staten Island from the same precinct. But this is a critical piece. When you sue the New York City Police Department, you must retain a litigation attorney. A litigation is a proceeding in court to proceed to get a judgment against the city of New York, not just for you to get money, but that it is filed and is held on record. What has been happening over the years since Amadou Diallo? Suits have been filed, but we have had inadequate judicial representation. When you sue the city, you do not settle the case. Why do I say that? Louima settled his case, all right? The Diallos settled their case. Bell settled the case.
but nobody went to jail.
Nobody went to jail, and there was no finding of fault or fact against the police department or the city. This is why. This is why you need to have proper legal representation. It's not about necessarily you and your suffering. There are people coming behind you that are going to fall into the same scenario. And their cases cannot be strengthened if you take a case and settle out of court. And this is what has been going on. And our people are losing. They're getting paid, but they're losing. We need to have a case wherein, and I trust in this case, the attorney will litigate a case, go to trial against the city of New York where they can be found guilty of wrongdoing. This has nothing to do with the Justice Department. Right here in New York State, where they're found guilty of wrongdoing and then pay the damages subsequent to a jury determination. Not settling in court in the back room with the lawyer behind closed doors. Because this is the way this system works. If it's not on paper, it doesn't exist. How many times do you see where a person, they settled out of court, you don't know what the figures are, they settled out of court, and they're not admitting to any wrongdoing, and this is what's happening. The police department has never admitted to wrongdoing because there's never been a case to find them wrong or guilty of anything they have done.
Well, this case here, after what Nat just called and made me aware of, I mean, this is an open and shut case. If this guy is
It still has to be litigated.
Well, let's
It
see
can't
what
be
happens
settled.
this
It
time.
has
Let's
to
see
be
what happens
litigated.
this time. Because, I mean, we can talk about other cases, but this is something different and should be handled different. We got a
We have
different
another
mayor.
caller.
And let's have the caller, and I hope you are in tune here. Next caller, please. Oh, this is a trip.
Hey.
Yes.
Speak up, please.
Did you hear what we were talking about?
Hello.
Did you hear what we were talking about?
Hey, what's happening? This Brother Frazier from Harlem. Hey, Gilchrist.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, Graham, how you feeling, brother?
Good. It's a good day.
All right, man. Thank y'all, man. It's always going to be ongoing. I just feel at this point, we as, first of all, black men need to become more literate with ourselves and more literate with society and more literate with the police department, and we won't have to go step by step into a physical confrontation with a police. We won't have to argue with him about leave me alone and I could do what I want to do and act all impostuous. Brother man, I'm going to say this, and please don't get mad, Gilchrist. Himself killed, man. Okay?
Do what?
He got himself killed.
The man got himself choked because he simply didn't comply with what the officer in front of him tried to do.
Yeah.
All he had to do was go downtown and then be cool. He already knew what time it was when they showed up.
Well, you know what?
He should have went downtown, and then when he got out, do the appropriate paperwork and the appropriate steps. Graham, let me ask you a question real quick. Where does one complain about these matters? Which bureau downtown? Where is it located?
All right. There are 3 places you need to go.
Okay.
And when you go to these 3 places, don't tell them where you've already been.
Okay.
All right? Number 1, you file a complaint with the district attorney in your county.
Yes.
And not with the DA's squad. NYPD has a squad at the DA's office. You want to go to the District Attorney's Investigation Bureau.
Yes, sir.
All right? Now, that's your first stop. And keep in mind, if you go in Staten Island, they'll probably tell NYPD about it. But you go anyway and you file the complaint, sit with the investigator, make sure you tell the truth. That's number 1, because you will be arrested for lying. Tell the truth. All right? Do not embellish. Don't add anything to the mix. Tell the truth. They're going to give you a case number and investigator.
I understand.
You leave there. You contact Internal Affairs. You call Internal Affairs. You tell them you want to open a case against a police officer. That detective will give you their name. They will listen to you, interview you on the phone, and they're going to assign a case number.
Yes, sir.
They will also come to your house.
Okay.
All right? Which is cool.
Okay.
They will take all the information down. The case will be ongoing, and they will keep you abreast of the findings.
Okay.
Then, you can go to 26 Federal Plaza.
Okay.
To the FBI.
Okay.
The FBI has a civil rights unit within their, within the Bureau. And you can speak to them about violation of your civil and your constitutional rights. All right? So now you have a check and balance system.
Okay.
Because I had to do this once with some cops in Midtown South back in the 80s. And trust me, they've regretted it till the day that they retired. Because they were on permanent lockdown. Even taking civil service promotional exams, they could not get promoted.
Okay.
So we need to hit the DA's office. Oh, and also CCRB. There is a new head of CCRB, a former civil rights attorney from the ACLU, Civilian Complaint Review Board. And they have been given more subpoena power and arrest power. As a matter of fact, in the case prior to the Garner case in Staten Island with these guys in this precinct, CCRB determined that the cops were lying to them during the course of their investigation. According to the patrol guide, a police officer can be terminated for lying in the course of an investigation. How can a police officer go into court and testify against you, a civilian, when he's lying to the very people he works for when they're conducting an investigation? He has no integrity. All right? So that's grounds for termination right there.
Okay.
Wow.
Before we get into the criminal charges, he is bound for the exit for lying during the course of an investigation. It's the same thing if a federal agent interviews you and you lie to a federal agent, you're in violation of the U.S. Code. You will be arrested for lying.
Wow, brother.
You will be arrested for lying. So those 4 areas a person should go to. The District Attorney's Investigation Bureau in your county. You call the Internal Affairs Bureau.
Okay.
The Civilian Complaint Bureau, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, and also the FBI at 26 Federal Plaza.
All right, man.
Take a witness with you.
Okay.
A clergyman, a parent, somebody from your community with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about being scared.
Thank you.
All right?
Hey, man, thanks for the education. That's just what we need, man, okay?
Right. Thank you for calling, Freddie. We got a lot of people on the line. Next caller, please.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened with...
She's talking.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I just want to make a statement. My name is Mrs. Nelson.
Yes,
First,
Mrs.
I
Nelson.
want to say we have to respect our black lives. And the reason why this is continuing to happen is because we allow it to happen. We have to stand up and we have to change the law. If they're not going to be held accountable for taking a black life, then we have to make them be held accountable. This is equivalent to a lynching. And just like other communities, Jewish communities and other communities, this would never happen over and over and over in their communities. We have to change our way of thinking about ourselves. And we must fight. We must fight. We must fight. Because we can't afford to continue to allow them to think of nothing of our lives and value our lives. So I hope this starts a movement. We have to take it to the international court. Alton Maddox said this. I believe it's the right way to go. Human rights have been abused in the United States of America too long, starting back from our history of over 400 years of being enslaved people. And we need to change things to make it different. And that's my statement.
My response to that is we need to go closer to home and just go to City Hall. Just go right down to City Hall and protest there. We don't need the international community involved in this. This is international town. So the entire world's right here. Anyway, but what I like to say about that comment was that, hey, the people are waking up. But this particular case here is an open and shut case. I think this is the real start of a big change here in New York. We can see de Blasio is a new mayor, and we got a new police commissioner. I have every faith that this thing is going to be completely resolved. Because this man, this is premeditated murder. This cop officer knew Eric Gardner, come to find out. And now this is an attack by somebody who had a beat. One more caller, all right? We got one more caller, and we'll be right back. All right? Come on. Put them on. Thank you for calling.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Gilchrist?
Yes.
I want to say hello. I love you.
Thank you, brother.
Evening. Grandma, I love you as well.
Evening.
Shout out to all your crew, hard workers behind the scenes. I'll be real quick. Now, listen, I may respectfully disagree with, I came in last part of the show, but that guy, Eric Gardner, you know, even if he was standing and resisting arrest. Now, I'm a paralegal, so I understand you gotta, comply with certain things, but at the same time, Alberta Sproul didn't do a damn thing. He was killed. Amadou Diallo didn't do a damn thing, and he was killed 41 times. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have this rogue guy, Patrick Lynch, and Palladino, and all these other people. They're gangsters. People need if you look at the comments over the last 10 years or the last 12 years of every shameful murder of our people, watch his comments. His comments are always savage. They're barbarian. They deserve it. This all types of things. I mean, he propels this stuff. Why is anyone not addressing Patrick Lynch and this PBA brotherhood cult leadership? And my question to you, Mr. Graham, do you think, I already know, but do you think this has a robust attack on our people throughout America is also due to this Obama bashing, Obama backlash? Because it has risen. I mean, it is like, let's go kill a nigga. But I'll reinstate automatics, Hotep, and also want to say this. I know you guys love Al Sharpton. I don't think we always need to go to him. He is not the voice or the sounding board for us, or not for me. That's my opinion. I don't care what he does or what happens. If I was that lady, I would have got me an attorney, and I would have went to Automatics, and I would have had him come up with a very fabulous plan. We need to stop relying on Al Sharpton. We need to all come together. These people do not care about it, but that's my question, and I'll hang up and I'll listen. Be well.
All right, regarding Barack Obama, you remember when David Dinkins was mayor, the disdain and disrespect that he got from the police department.
Yeah, it's racism.
Locally. When he left office, what did they say? It was Giuliani time, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama comes in office, you can see the blatant disrespect, the racism, the Klanism right in the U.S. Congress, and how that has permeated the country. It has emboldened people to come out and say exactly what's on their mind with regard to black people. So yes, I do agree. Nothing has changed. They're just more vociferous in their presentation. They'll put on a shirt and a tie and a suit as opposed to put the hood on, but the message is still the same, and we need to understand it. Our young people need to understand having a black president is no big deal.
Yes,
it is no big deal.
Yes, it is.
Because you are still living in the United States of America, and your value by these people is held to a minimum.
Well,
and I want to close with just these charges so you have an understanding of what you were looking at. Murder in the second degree, circumstances evincing a depraved indifference to human life. One recklessly engages in conduct that creates a grave risk of death to another person and thereby causes the death of another person. That's a Class A1 felony. Murder in the second degree, when a person depicts a depraved indifference and the infliction of physical pain. Depraved means defiantly relished in the infliction of extreme physical pain upon the victim, evincing debased or perversion, or that the defendant evidenced a sense of pleasure in the infliction of extreme physical pain. That is a Class A1 felony. Manslaughter first degree. A person is guilty of that act with intent to cause serious injury to another person. He causes the death of such person or a third person. Manslaughter in the first degree is a B felony. Criminal negligent homicide. A person is guilty of it when he simply causes the death of another person. That is an E felony. Reckless endangerment in the first degree, when a person recklessly engages in conduct or creates a risk of death to another person. D felony. Criminal obstruction of breathing or blood. This is how I render you unconscious. A person is guilty with intent to impede the normal breathing or circulation of blood in another person. That is an A misdemeanor. And strangulation in the second degree, which is a hate crime. A hate crime. Causing or strangling a person is a third degree felony. These are just basic tenets of law with which this officer should be charged, not leaving out the other officers who were there who failed to do anything to assist this man as he lay there dying on the ground.
As usual, it's been a Gilchrist experience, and one final thought. There are about as many different ways of being black as there are black people. We all have our take on how to deal with things, but I think President Obama, to me, is a blessing from God, and people that don't take an example of what we can do as a people. Now, we should be supporting him 150%, no matter what you think about how to deal with something. There should be a united force on whatever happens to President Obama can happen to you. Whatever happened to Eric Garner can happen to you. So it's all according to how we look at things and how we handle things. We have to love one another and understand that we're in the same boat. The God in me loves the God in you, and please return next week for the Gilchrist Experience. All right? Stay tuned to more injustices. Thank you for coming. God bless.